Hi, I'm Jeff Zahn, and you're watching a podcast where nostalgia comes alive. It's Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show.
Welcome to Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, where nostalgia comes alive. Join Jake and his friends on a journey through pop culture of the past, where they interview professionals in the worlds of acting, directing, writing, puppeteering, and so much more. Who will they be chatting with today? Find out in this Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show episode.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, the podcast where nostalgia comes alive. Happy to be with us. As always, thank you for joining. I'm your host, Jake Duffenball. With me today, of course, our co-host, Chris Bixby. How's it going?
Doing good. Hello, everyone. How are you, Jake?
Doing great. As always, Chris, thank you for asking. Yeah, so we have a lot of fun chatting with this wonderful two delightful folks that you're all about to witness. See who are watching and listening, that I'm sure you guys will know of the various projects that those two got to do over the years, and it was a lot of fun indeed. It was so great, a lot of fun. I would go on and on, but I don't want to go yapping no more. Chris, what do you have for today?
Yeah, so today's guests that we had, and I say guests because, like Jake said, we had two guests on. These two are animation legends, I'd say, at least. Would you agree, Jake?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm sure guys will know all these other things that you don't know what I'm talking. You don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, and not just animation legends, but just voiceover in general. So the two guests that we had on were Sonja Ball and Rick Jones. Now, starting off with Sonja, some of her earliest jobs in the industry include voicing Nicole and various characters in the Madeline video specials. Some of Rick's earliest things include voicing C.L.Y.D.E in the science fiction animated series C.L.Y.D.E. But they're best known for projects such as Sonja voicing Wimzie on Wimzie's House and Arthur's mom Jane Reed on Arthur, and Spookley from Spookley the Square Pumpkin. And Rick is known for his work as a voice director on several animated series, as well as voicing Foo the Bat on Sagwa the Chinese Siamese Cat, and also as a writer for shows such as You Can't Do That on Television, The Adventures of Teddy Ruxpin, The Little Lulu Show, a whole bunch of other things that we talked to them about. A lot of wonderful stories about Arthur and Wimzie and Sagwa and all these other wonderful shows. Busy World of Richard, Scarry, where Sonja was
and all these other
Huckle Cat and Rick was a writer. Just
of course, and talk about was all these wonderful projects that being a huge sensation and all these other topics.
Absolutely. Well, let's not waste any more time. Without further ado, enjoy our chat with Sonja and Rick.
See you then. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, the podcast where nostalgia comes alive.
Yes, we're pleased to have with us two guests, Sonja Ball and Rick Jones. How are you both?
We're doing very, very well, speaking for her.
Well, he just got back from ballet, so he's a happy camper.
How are you both doing?
Yeah, pleasure to have you both.
Very well.
Great.
Thank you for having us on your show.
Yes,
this is really fun.
This should be fun.
Good to hear.
Absolutely. So to start this off, could you tell our audience a bit about yourselves and what you do?
Sonja, you go ahead.
Okay, I'm a voice actress and singer. Been living in Montreal my whole life. Been very blessed to work with wonderful people like Rick and others. And I just feel like it's not really work. It's a joy. It's a joy. It's sharing something that makes you giggle and be happy, and you get to be silly all day. And so I feel very blessed. And yeah, that's it.
And for me, it's voice work, writing, and voice directing. And like she said, it's like you're not working, except the writing part. That's actually work. All the other stuff, no, it's just a lot of fun. We have a blast together, and we have been working together, I think, for 30 years.
Yeah.
And
it's so funny because when I moved to the Laurentians, I didn't know that Rick lived just up the road, a couple of kilometers behind me. So that was a fun thing.
Or as they say, miles.
Or miles.
Or miles,
Case, yes.
It's only about a mile away from my place.
Yeah.
So that was
that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, of course. So now I'm, kind of curious, what was your, both, childhoods like before getting to start, acting and professionally and voiceover, were you both always, interested to be in those fields at all?
Well, look, I remember as a kid where we had a phonograph back in those days, and my dad had comedy albums like Bill Cosby, Stan Freberg, Tom Lehrer, and things like that. I memorized all that stuff, and I would either sing the songs or try to perform the comedy bits at the dinner table, which wasn't always appreciated. So I was loving that stuff from way back in the beginning, but I ended up going to university doing the responsible thing. Learning biology and geology, which I did practice for a little while, but I ended up falling back into this again. Just way more fun. Way more fun.
That's lovely. Yeah. What about you, Sonia?
Well, my parents were not just parents; they were my best friends, and they were zany, silly people. And they built me a little puppet theater when I was only 7 or 8. So, and they bought us puppets, and so I started with that. And you get that. You pick it up from. I picked it up a lot from my family. Maybe not like Rick's story, but I always knew what I wanted to do from the time I was 6, 7 years old. I said I want to sing and I want to act. Yeah. So I've been able to do both. I do sing in some of the series too, and and it just evolved. One day, a musician I was singing with, bass player, he said, and I was acting kind of silly as I often do, and he said, "Oh, you should go down to CNR and audition." And so I did, and then I ended up taking a dubbing workshop, blah blah blah, and here I am today.
That's awesome.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So now I'm kind of curious, can you kind of talk about if you both remember, of course, do you both, remember your first professional jobs in industry?
Yeah, I'll let you go first, but yeah, I do very clearly.
Well, I mean, in the voiceover, I was singing from very, very young. I won't get into that too much, but for the voice work, when I went to CNR, I did an audition there, and I ended up doing a series called Brownie Bits. And from there, I got another job. Then it was word of mouth. I didn't have an agent for years and years. It was just word of mouth.
This girl, you throw any singing style at her, and she will nail it. The most amazing singing voice I have ever heard.
Oh, he's so sweet.
No, you're so versatile. Shut up. She's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I'm your biggest fan.
Yeah. So it just in life sometimes things just fall your way. If you have a passion for something and you're natural at it, sometimes things just culminate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So now for you, Sonia, you also got to contribute to a number of specials for a very successful franchise, Madeline, where you got to voice the character Nicole. What was that like? Because Madeline, obviously like Arthur and things like that. Very successful franchise. So what was working on that like for you?
Well, I worked with a great cast, but for Madeline's Christmas, which is I guess one of the more popular of that series. I also played Marie, which was more interesting than Nicole, because Nicole was just she's just a little kid, and whatever. But Marie she got to sing a song that won a bunch of awards, and that was really fun. Yeah, we've been very blessed to work with great people, good directors. I've worked in Toronto, and I find Montreal is like a little family. It's like a little family of actors, and we kind of support each other, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So now to you, Rick, you got to voicing C.L.Y.D.E in the science fiction series C.L.Y.D.E. So what was that?
That actually, that's where I met her.
Yes, that's
she
right.
was one of your first gigs. And the only reason I got that show was there was a comedian impersonator. I can't remember his name. Anyway, he couldn't do the show. It's Andre Philippe Gagnon. Oh. No, and he was on Carson and all these shows and stuff. But he couldn't do it. So they said, who else can do it? There's only one guy. Jones. So I got the part because the character he's multi-personality. So it was absolutely a blast to do, and it's robotic, all kinds of stuff. Anyway, for me, it was absolutely wonderful, and I got to work with her. I met her for the first time.
Yeah, we started out
Nice.
together at CNR. Well, that's where I met Rick. Yeah.
So it was
awesome.
absolute delight, and I was pretty raw and new to the job at that point too. So it was a little
Interesting.
bad nerves, yeah.
Yeah, so well, that's actually kind of a perfect segue. Like, what was it like for you to kind of start out in that way?
Well, you're in for room. At that point, I was working in another city, and I was working with a bunch of people I didn't know, so I didn't know what their capabilities were. So yeah, I'm trying to work to level of everybody else. You want to try to make the show nice and even.
Of course.
But everybody in the room was fabulous. So it was like, okay, I can do whatever the hell I want. It's all going to be fine.
See, I'm going to tell you something you may not know about Rick. Rick is as mad in person, like just being himself, as he is when he's doing a role. That
Pretty
it's
much,
who and what he is. He is just naturally a silly fella.
Yeah, pretty well.
That's why we love him.
Yeah, that's why I love me too.
Yep.
That's awesome. So back to you, Sonia. One of your best-known voiceover roles is voicing the title character Wimzie on Wimzie's House. What was working on that show like?
Oh, that was fun. I just got to be this little kid all day long, and she would sing songs, and it was great. It was tremendous fun.
Yeah.
Was it dubbing or was that original voice?
Oh God! Well, it was puppets, French puppeteers.
Right, French puppeteers, right?
I think it was dubbing because it was a French Canadian show, I think. So it was all so voice actors and different. Over here, it's all different. So.
Yeah.
So the challenge, and I'm sure you've interviewed other voiceover actors before. I think that the challenge is, okay, so you're dubbing, so your technically you have to be correct. You have to start speaking when the character opens its mouth and then closes its mouth. You have to stop speaking, but then you've got to make the dialogue and the script. That you have to make the dialogue on the band come alive.
Yeah.
Have character and fun, and that's the challenge there. Yeah.
And to do that, you have to be absolutely uninhibited.
Mm-hmm.
If you're inhibited in any way and you start questioning what you're doing, you're lost. You just have to just full bore. Mm-hmm. And if you do that, you are fine. A lot of people can't do that.
Yeah, Montreal was actually the hub of dubbing for quite a few years. We had a certain where the dialogue would run under the picture, We had a certain technique. Other countries adopted similar things after, but we kind of cornered the market. So Montreal, we were dubbing Czechoslovakian films, the Japanese cartoons, everything in Montreal. It was quite a hub for quite a few years.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wonderful. So of course with Wimzie's House how the show tackles of empathy, diversity, and big emotions. So what was it like for you to kind of Sonia to be involved in the show, kind of talk with those topics for preschoolers for that show? Can you kind of talk about that aspect a little bit?
Right. Well, I'm going to be honest. When you dub a show, you're so busy trying to make everything technically correct and make the voice fun and interesting that sometimes the storyline gets a little bit lost. But I think it had good messages for children in general, and it was fun to do, and it was a real honor to play the lead role. It was, because it was good for kids, good for children. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Parents, really.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So
how the way the show was, it was great. I mean.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. So now, do you have any favorite Wimzie's House episodes?
I think there was a show called Babies Have It Made. Okay. And I kind of I kind of liked that one because Wimzie dreams she's a baby. So you get to see from a child's perspective how frustrating it can be to be expected now to tie your own shoes and do things. And yet inside she wanted to have things done for her. So it was great. It's a good lesson for kids. And there was a good song in it too. I got to remember what the heck it was. But anyway, she dreams she's a baby. And I like that. I kind of like that episode. Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, and then I know there was oh yes, and there was another episode called "I Don't Like Chores," and there's a song in it.
Okay.
It says, when there's a lot to do, and I spoke with some. We have people that call us. I don't know how they get our number, but fans, and they call us. And I've got a couple of autistic friends now. I actually think I could consider them friends because we talk at depth, and it's wonderful to kind of see how they see the world and what the shows mean to them. And they were saying that when there's a lot to do, they found it very calming in that episode. They liked that episode for that reason. And I really would like to acknowledge the people that, some of our autistic fans that watch the shows, and give them credit for being fans and for loving it and getting something out of it that was meaningful for them,
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, since we're kind of like our way touch base, both the episodes and song wise. I mean, trying to go a little quick on and not too long, but I mean, with episodes wise, I like the very first episode, the Cookie Crisis, and the I Want My Mommy, and they did like a treasure hunt storyline, and the perfect Christmas. Can't forget about that.
Yes,
and the
Friendship
Day
Christmas.
episode.
I remember that one.
And the 3 Wishes one.
You know what? When the shows mean something to anybody, because we don't know, we go in, we do our acting, we go home, and we kind of move on to it. Sometimes, like Rick and I, we were just saying earlier when I first arrived here, Rick's got a beautiful home, gorgeous view. We were chatting away, and we were just saying, that. What were we saying?
So we up these shows, they go out, and we never see them again.
We never see them again. We don't even. I don't even have. Listen, guys, I don't even have TV. This is. I don't want my fans out there to hate me, but we record the show. I record the shows, and then I come home. So when a fan touches base and says, this episode meant a lot to me, that touches my heart and makes what I do have a different scope other than just my work that I do love and enjoy. I must admit to you that it means something, so that's
that's awesome.
Yeah, of course. And of course you can't with songs wise quickly, of course you can't forget the theme and the Always Tell the Truth, Best of Friends, and I Love Snow. The wonderful Jeff Zahn, Bruce.
The one who helped put us all in touch.
The way he does. Yeah. Yep. And the way that how he did with the music wise, for anything that he's done over years, like including that show, he did.
Yeah.
Such phenomenal talent.
Oh, Jeff is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and
wonderful to work with.
Yeah.
I'm a non-singer. I don't sing well, and Jeff can get me through these songs. I don't know how he does it. When the song is done at the end, I go, "How did you get that out of me?" I'm just like, Jeff is amazing. He's absolutely amazing.
Well,
I love
but the thing now, I know I don't mean to pump, Rick's head up too full in case it explodes, but he sings in character. The character, he puts a lot of character in the songs, and that really helps.
Oh, yeah.
Singing in character is very forgiving because you can do all kinds of things you want to do.
Exactly.
Because you got laughter.
Yeah.
It's just a blast.
And Jeff worked with great musicians. We had Jeff Fisher, wonderful. He played with for years with Celine Dion, and he would play a lot of the music too. And so some of the sounds that you hear are also coming from one of Montreal's, really greatest musicians is Jeff Fisher too. So between the two of them, they covered everything and they did a great job. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So now what was it like voicing, for a puppet-based show, like compared to your other, voiceover roles?
Puppet is different because either the mouth is open or it is closed or it's somewhere in between. So you can put more emotional content can go into a puppet than a lip sync. If you're dubbing, say, if you have to lip sync to an animated thing. So puppets are wonderful. We did a show called Kitty Cats. We did 256 episodes of it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
They ran about 15 minutes. And we got to the point where we didn't even watch the show before we dubbed it.
Yeah.
We would just turn it on. And because we knew our characters so well,
Yeah.
256 episodes, that we just go and we just be right into, we knew you've got a 2-minute story. This is what the story is. We just go and record it.
We call it cold dubbing.
Cold dubbing. And then at the end, we'd roll it back and then change a couple of lines. But it was just like, puppets are great because you could do anything.
Yeah.
They're very forgiving.
Yeah.
Very forgiving. Yeah. We had a blast on that one.
That's awesome.
Yeah, of course. So now I'm moving on from Moose's house to the beastly world of which is scary. You know, what was your both involvement? How it all kind of came about.
Oh, Busy World of Richard Scarry. Well, that was a CNR production.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we just were, I have to tell you, now this is not, again, no inflated egos here, but Rick and I happen to be two people that were booked a lot, for voice acting. So I think the word gets round, guys. And, we would maybe audition. Sometimes we just get hired on the spot. And so, I mean, I recorded my episodes in Toronto. So I would fly from Montreal to Toronto every week to do the show. So that was quite something.
And Richard Scarry was something we knew from when we were kids. So we're already familiar with the structures and the characters and all of that stuff. So the Scarry project was great. I wrote some of the Scarry episodes, and it was easy because I already knew. I knew everybody had to do what they did, and everybody did. So it's all fun. So that was a joy to write. That one was a joy to write. And Richard, he passed on at that point, but his son was looking after the franchise. So, and he was as up on everything as his father was. So it was all as Richard would have done it. Anyway, that's
wonderful. That's great.
Well, Rick comes from a background of he not just an actor, as you well know, or writing and directing. He has a real good global understanding of the projects he's working on. I just go in. I'm a hired voice, I go in, I do my thing. I did direct one audio book for the book was called The Pot with the Hole, and that was kind of fun because I played every female character, and there were quite a few, 7 characters in that. But I don't have Rick's direction and writing skills. No. So there we go.
Yeah, definitely a wonderful show. And for you, Sonja, what was it like getting to voice Huckle Cat?
Oh yeah, but well, I gave them I did them. I'm kind of like this, kind of like you find ways to. That was fun. It was great.
Yeah, you found the husky boy voice, and it's funny when you did that. I remember I think I was there. I was there for the auditions, and I was listening to stuff coming through the glass. And what you did for Huckle was, in my mind, was what when I read the books as a kid, I realized that is Huckle's voice. When I heard it, I went,
really?
That is Huckle's voice.
Oh, so coming from Rick.
So everybody else probably did the same thing. So that's kind of what we thought the character should sound like. Anyway, it was absolutely brilliant. You nailed it on that one.
Well, you get lucky, sometimes you try things, and as a voice actor, I think it's important, like Rick was saying earlier, you can't have fear in you. You can't have nervousness. You got to kind of let the creative energy out. And if you got any in you at all, you'll be able to vary your audition to hopefully get somewhere close to what it is they're looking for,
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So now for you, Rick, what was it like getting to voice, various characters, and also, as you mentioned, writing for the show? What was that like?
In Scarry, I think I did auditions. I didn't get any of the main parts, but that's okay. Sometimes I like to do the smaller parts. They would have me. I honestly don't remember who I did, but 4 or 5 other little characters. And for me, that's fun because they have no expectations really of what that character is going to sound like. So I can do whatever I want. It's fine. So I auditioned for all of those, and I got the way the writing worked. You'd pitch a story premise. So I'd write down 10 different story premises, and I pitched them, and maybe you got 1 out of that batch, or maybe 2. But as I say, writing it was easy because I already had read the books as a kid. So I was familiar with the structures and the character arcs and the story arcs, what was going to happen. So that was one of the easier ones to write. I'll tell you. It's such a lovely show.
It really is. What do you have like any favorite stories like from the show at all? It could either be ones that you wrote or, you know.
Oh, gosh, no, you got me on that one. It's been so many years ago, and I have not seen them in donkey's years. So, yeah, no, I can't figure the favorite ones, but
that's okay. Yeah, it's a very iconic show, though. I mean, I love that show.
Yeah.
Such a great show. So now you also work together on a show, Rotten Ralph. Can you talk a little bit about that?
That's Rotten Ralph right there.
Rotten Ralph.
Nope.
Oh my God, that was fun. That was Dimensional Animation. It came out of Los Angeles with Peter Churchill. He's working with a studio in Britain at the same time, and they were doing that show. We dubbed it, and it went out the door. I think it ran in Canada, but we don't know. So we never really saw it until I found out about this. One day I was riverboarding. Riverboarding is like you go down a river on a boogie board with handles, and you go down the river and with a bunch of people who are also the big whitewater rafting raft, 30 people. So I was going down the river, and we went to some big rapids, and it was a bit of a distance to the next set of rapids. So I went over to one of the boats and said, "Can I hang on to the outside in the water here? Because I'm on the little board." And it was about 30 teenage girls, 13, 14. "Oh yeah, you can hang on to the boat then. That's very nice. What you do is..." And they asked me what I was doing. I said, "Oh, I do cartoons." "Oh, what you do?" Rotten Ralph. Rotten Ralph! And the boat went like crazy because all these girls, it was their favorite TV show, and it was the #1 kid show on BBC. We had no idea.
Yeah, no.
Anyway,
that's wild.
Ralph, there's some funny voices. I was trying to push my ways away from the boat. Yeah, I got it. There's a rapid coming up. Anyway, so honestly, we find out about these shows many years after, like Samurai Pizza Cats, which we did 33 years ago. Apparently, it was the #1 show in Britain and in Australia, and their fan clubs. I just found this out a couple of months ago. It's just like, honestly, you never know. It was an awfully fun show to do.
Absolutely.
Your character was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Samurai Pizza Cats, that's another great show too.
Yeah.
Definitely. So now, for you, Sonia, of course, another role you're best known for is voicing Arthur's mom, Jane Reed, on Arthur. Can you kind of talk about how you kind of landed that role and kind of like that audition process?
Well, again, we worked so much at C.L.Y.D.E, which was a pretty big animation studio at one point here in Montreal. Again, I had no agent, so it's word of mouth goes around, and I auditioned for the mom part, and I got it, and I was very grateful and had no idea it would run for so many years and win all kinds of awards. So it's funny, I'm going to be honest with you, playing the mom, a very straight mom, was let's say, it's not like doing other characters where you get to be really zany and silly, unless there was a fantasy episode, an episode where there's, the Arthurs that would have fantasy segments in the show, and then you got to be a little off the rails, which is something I enjoy very much. But anyway, so that's so it was great. I mean, hell, look, guys, we don't even sometimes meet the other actors. We go in studio and we're just recording our lines, and the other parts are often pre-recorded. So we've worked with people. I mean, I know Rick will have a list as long as your arm, but we've worked with people like, don't hurt yourself. Who was it now? Oh God, Mary Tyler Moore, Julian Lennon, John Lennon's son. We've, Whoopi Goldberg.
That's
but
awesome.
I often are not in the same studio often, although
we did. Oh, one day Fred Rogers came in to play himself.
Yeah, that's right, for the Arthur Meets Fred Rogers episode. I love that episode.
That's right.
Honestly, Fred Rogers was the guy on TV.
He is a
sweetheart. He was the nicest person you'd ever want to meet. That was the one. We have a lovely picture of us.
Yes, we have. Yes, we do have.
Anyway, that was memorable to me because I love Fred Rogers. He was the guy on TV. He was that man.
He was very real.
It was such a beautiful man.
Yeah. So we don't often get to be in studio with some of these well-known celebs, right? because they've recorded their parts in L.A. or New York or wherever the heck they are, and we record our parts in Montreal. But when you get to see it and hear it all after, and it comes out to be a cohesive, interesting back and forth between characters, that's really rewarding, you know.
Absolutely.
So now with you, Sonja, I'm sure there might be a lot of favorites. Kind of difficult to answer, but are there like any like episodes or scenes that you found to be fun to do, to record for being Arthur's mom?
Of course, aside from that wonderful Mr. Rogers episode.
Yeah.
Well, like I say now, some of the fantasy excerpts from the show were fun because I could stop being the real, nice mom there and get a little bit sillier and zanier, and I enjoyed that. But Arthur Meets Mr. Rogers, I have to say, that was a lot of fun. And I felt that his dialogue with the children, the children listening, it was very encouraging and uplifting, and I liked that very, very much. Let me see. I wrote down some of my answers because I said to myself, Jesus, I recorded so many shows and I don't have TV, so I don't watch them anymore. So I had to remember, But Arthur's mom has giant lips.
I didn't see that one.
Well, she's just, for 5 solid minutes, she's got great big lips and she's chatting away. A bit of silliness there. Arthur's Perfect Christmas. I not only.
I love that special.
It's so great. And It's Only Rock and Roll as well. I love that too. Backstreet Boys got to appear on.
Well, I got to play Crackers, the toy.
The toy duck,
Duck. Yeah, I got to be Crackers. To tell you the truth, I had more fun being Crackers than I did Mom. Okay, because Crackers was a little more my speed. So that I love that episode for that reason.
One of the Christmas episodes.
Yeah, Arthur's Perfect Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that special.
There's another episode where most episodes where the mom's like usually being like nice and all, but because of one episode that Arthur did something that the mom was being trouble, which when I'm talking about is Arthur's big hit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of vaguely remember, guys. Forgive me now, it was a lot of years, eh?
Right.
So I don't remember it exactly.
Right. And then there's like the more serious episodes where Arthur and DW think that the parents are going to get a divorce.
Yeah.
Because they were fighting over spilled milk.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are a lot of good ones.
Well, it's nice to see you guys seem to have enjoyed the show.
Absolutely. Yeah. Arthur's such a lovely show. One of my favorites growing up.
Yeah. Well, Arthur was Arthur was such a great show. One of my favorites growing up.
It really was.
It was well done, and they really did think about the topics the things that kids do go through. And it's nice that that's addressed, and the kids get to see that dramatized in a way through cartoon. Yeah.
Absolutely. So now can you kind of talk about like the dynamic between, the Reed family and kind of that whole family dynamic on that show?
Well, I'd have to think about that for a second. Well, the fact that the kids were loved despite being very different.
Yeah.
They were equally loved by their mother and father, which was kind of sweet. That's kind of sweet. DW was a little hellraiser, let's face it. And Arthur was a curious little bugger. And the parents loved them equally. And there was some interesting dynamics and things that would happen with kids' emotions, And I think that's important that kids have something like that to kind of relate to,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm sure a lot of Arthur fans will want to hear a little bit, of course. Is it fine that we can probably hear a little bit of the mom?
DW, honey, don't forget to do your homework, sweetheart. It was very much my own voice.
Yeah.
But,
Right, they're just more like calming kind of sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, she was kind of, the dad was sort of funnier, wasn't he?
Yeah,
That
it was
sort of
it was like the zany dad who was making like all these weird foods and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Bruce Dinsmore, of course, he's a previous guest too, and
Yeah,
he's
he's great.
Oh
lovely.
yeah, you guys did. Yeah, you had Bruce on. That's right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was an
Well,
episode
Bruce.
called All Thumbs with Buster and Arthur, and they wanted to create their own country. I thought that was kind of cute. It gets
Okay.
into how kids will use their imagination. Very imaginative show, really. Well written for kids, I think.
Yeah, and of course you can't forget
Yeah.
about the music festival episode with all those songs like Library Card and all those wonderful
Yes.
songs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
That's right. That's right. Well, we were very lucky with that show. I mean, imagine as a writer, well, Rick could tell us, you write an episode or you write the concept for a show, you don't know how it's going to take off or
Right.
if it'll even take off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so when it becomes big and there's a request for it and the networks are saying, yeah, and PBS wants it and blah, 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 you just, it's a wonderful thing, right?
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so now this is kind of a deep cut in a way, at least with Arthur. So, and I looked this up online, so I'm hoping this is like even correct, but I saw it said that you also did the voiceover for the funding credits on the show.
Oh yeah. Oh, you mean for when there'd be an advertiser or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is like so you won't
Yeah.
so you can remember it. It's like and by contributions to PBS station. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the usual.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd always have a bunch of those to do. Mhm.
Yeah, right. Where Buster got to do one like later
Yeah.
on.
And Danny Brochu, he's wonderful as well.
Yeah, he's great.
Oh yeah, Danny. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that like when we first heard that you got to do it, it's like wait, it was like huh, because we remember those those fun credits
Yeah.
funny enough. So it's like huh, probably not a lot of people really know about it. So it's cool that we got to touch base a little bit.
Yeah, we would just do it as part of the dialogue, guys, and we'd be we'd do an episode
yeah,
and
because it's
then
part of
at the
PBS,
end,
so it's like
Yeah.
they'd say
like
something.
every show
Sonia,
has it.
would you mind doing this tag? And we would do it just like as part of our job, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, of course. So now to you, Rick. What was it like in the game to voicing like various characters on Arthur?
The parts I didn't get any of the principal characters on Arthur, and that was okay. I didn't mind until I found out it ran for 25 years. I went, that would have been a good part. But what they used to, if they had a difficult character or concept to work out, I would usually get the call. They need a Bill Clinton imitator, so that guy, they call me. I would work on, and we'd go and do it. The weirdest one was when I had to burp the first 4 bars of the national anthem.
Oh, interesting.
Wow.
I did it.
Wow.
I could probably still do it right now, but I might, get all over.
Please don't.
No, please don't. No. Anyway, these were the odd characters I would get, and they were always fun to do. So.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
They like the sort of one-off characters. Yeah, those are always fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, those little cameo things. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we touched up on this a little bit, but for both of you, like, what was it like getting to work with the other voice actors on that show? And because some people have said that they never met him, but if you met him, Mark Brown, the creator.
Oh yes, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, we were not best friends, but I did meet Mark Brown, lovely man, and he did sign an Arthur big doll that was given to me of Arthur. He signed underneath, and he was just a real charm to work for. And he seemed to really enjoy, what we were all doing. And he was a pleasant individual. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Such a wonderful person.
Yeah, we've had him on several times. So he has a new show out called Hop. And so we had him on, and the two
Peter
people he
Hirsch
created
and
it
Tolan.
with, his son Tolan, and then Peter Hirsch, one of the writers of that show and of Arthur. So
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow,
Great,
great.
stuff. Yeah.
Great. Well done.
absolutely, yeah, they're
Yeah.
all wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes, they are indeed. So of course, Arthur, is like one of the most longest, children's series, and of course, the show has been on such a huge, sensation over the years. What is it like, for kind of your thoughts from you both, that Arthur, has been running for over 25 years and become, such a beloved show for generations.
Again, you do something, you go in, you do your job, you go home, you don't know what to expect, and the fact that
It's just another project, it's just okay. It's just thing. It wasn't expected to like a start. It's not. They're not having an idea. They're trying to go big or anything. It just kind of happens.
It happened, yeah, and so we're grateful, obviously, and it's kind of like a little feather in one's cap to be a part of a very successful show, for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So now another one of my favorite shows growing up that you both worked together on was Sagwa, the Chinese Siamese Cat. What was that
Oh,
like?
yeah. There's another Emmy Award winner. Arthur got an Emmy, and Sagwa got an Emmy for backgrounds, for the background art. And they were
Cool.
so rich, the background art in that show. It won a daytime Emmy, which I
didn't even know. Yeah. See, I'm here just hearing that for the first time. I
always get to new stuff. Sagwa was a fun show to do. It was, and again, it's funny in Montreal, if you go to Montreal, Toronto, even Los Angeles or New York, the voice pool of your professional voice actors is maybe 30 or 40, and they do 90% of the work. Then you get your A-listers come in and they do their stuff. But we work with such a small pool of people. We know everybody. And once you get their rhythm and it's your rhythm and whatever, and I forgot what the question was. But I had a good point. I used to know where I was going, but I'm too old now. I did have a point.
Now today, okay, I did nine with a little. I tried to do a bit of a Chinese accent, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But now that would be, I guess, considered politically incorrect. Am I right?
Maybe, yeah, because I know with some like animated characters, like they have people of, their cultures, voicing them now. Like for example, with Family Guy, the character Cleveland was originally voiced by a white man.
Yeah.
And then they, recast him because, they thought a white man voicing a black character would be culturally incorrect. So they now have a black man voicing him. So
I guys, sometimes my agent will say to me, "Now, look, you are half Lebanese, right? You're half Arab." I said, "Oh yeah. My mother her whole family was from Beirut, Lebanon." She said, "Oh, good, because so there's a lot of. I mean, I do understand. It's just that. Anyway, never mind. We won't touch on politics. Scrap that. Edit that out. Okay? I said nothing.
And speaking of Sagwa, Rick, you got to voice one of my favorite characters on the show, Fufu the Bat.
Oh, Fufu was a fun thing.
Yeah, right.
I didn't get to voice direct that one. A friend of mine was doing that one, but there was the latitude. You could do anything you want. That was a character you couldn't go too far with. He was just like, dude, back off, a fun character to do. Just you dream of getting those characters. You do. Because they're few and far between. Wonderful character. I still have the little stuffy plushy toy for Fufu.
And now Holly Frankel played Sagwa.
She was Sagwa.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, she's awesome.
Holly Frankel is now directing also.
Yeah.
So we started out together, and of course everyone did their own thing after a time, right?
Yeah.
Holly started doing dubbing. I think she was 14 or 13 or 14. I think was the first time. And her mother sang with Celine Dion in Las Vegas. It's all connected together.
Yeah.
Holly's wonderful. Oh my gosh, she's absolutely wonderful.
And often musical people will make good voiceover people because they have an ear. They've got a good ear, and they're kind of used to playing with the voice as singers or whatever. So anyway, so that was great. Yeah, Sagwa.
Yeah.
That was a lovely show.
Absolutely.
Too. Rick, weren't you one of the dogs?
I think I did get one. Yeah, I got one of the dogs.
You were one of the dogs. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was already there.
Yeah.
Hey, you,
Yeah.
do that dog. Hold it. No, out the door, out.
Yeah.
We go restrained.
Is it fine if we could hear a little bit of Fufu's voice?
Training with Fufus. Oh boy, you're calling. Oh, I think he had a glissando somewhere in his voice like that. I think that was it.
Am I on the money? I haven't watched the show in 25 years.
Yeah,
But I think
he had a little bit of thing like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
guess so. Okay, let's go.
I think, but it's been 25 years.
Yeah.
I
No,
don't know.
yeah, that's how he sounds. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, we got
So no worries at all, Rick.
Yes.
it.
Oh gosh. So now with you, Rick. So I know it's kind of fun, a perfect segue because with you, Sonja, you kind of in the way touch base, with Rick, getting into being a voice director. So with you, Rick, how all that came about? How did you kind of first began working as a voice
Well,
director?
that happened. I was in university doing a biology and geology degree, and a buddy of mine said, "Come work at the radio station. I need some voices," because they did funny voices. And so I got interested in the university radio station, the voices. I really liked this, and I thought I'd like to do this for a living, but I need to make money. How do I make money? Okay, well, I make money. I'll form an advertising and marketing company. Like I knew anything about advertising and marketing, but I knew what a good story was. So I started this company and then started doing all these voices, and of course I was directing myself. So that was really the first thing with the directing, was I was directing myself. And then other times you have other actors come in, and I'd sit there and walk them through a 30-second commercial. Can you give me this? Give me a little more. Pick it up. Just that kind of stuff. That's where I learned it in small 30-second chunks. And then after that, then now it's 30 minutes. But it's the same principles. So that's where I got my start, is in 30 seconds.
Nice.
Yeah, like if you're in the elevator and then so like, okay, we can't talk about voice director. So okay, so I did.
Right.
Yeah,
that's kind of
exactly.
Kind of like an elevator pitch. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like an elevator pitch.
Yeah.
Did a few of those.
Yeah. So now, with all these projects you do voice director, what are some that kind of like stick out to you? I know, there's been like a bunch of them, and I remember when we interviewed Jeff, he told us about a bunch of them too that he did the music for too. So I'm kind of wondering, like, what are some that kind of stick out to you?
Well, one of my favorites is Spookley.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Spookley the Square
And that's-
Pumpkin. I love
that's
that.
Jeff again, too. Jeff and
Such
Sonja.
a beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful special.
She is Spookley.
Well, Spookley's a little kind of a shy guy. He's kind of sweet.
And I really enjoy whenever I get the chance to do it. I like it.
Yeah, that's honestly one of my favorites, because the cast, it's a small cast, and they are all so good. From her on down, then Michelle Perron, Bruce Dinsmore, Terrence Scammell, and it's a small cast. Just everybody knows their parts. Oh wow, they've been doing it for 30 years. So honestly, when I go and direct that show, I don't have to do anything, because their sense of story dictates what they're going to do, and they all have a great sense of story. So when they give me a line, I'm going, yeah, just give it to me again, because it's perfect. I just need a backup. Honestly, it's like I don't have to do anything. When you're working with people who've been in this business so long, if you got a bunch of people who've never done it before, then you're actually working. Then you're doing voice directing. But when you have a cast like this, it's just like, wow. It's like,
working with your colleagues is just the best
He's
thing.
easy to please.
Yeah, no, you guys are just so good. I don't have to do anything. Spookley is one of the top ones. But God, I don't know.
Oh yeah,
so many.
absolutely.
I figured it out the other day that Sonja and I have probably done, I would say, 6,000 or 7,000 episodes of TV, either as voice or voice director or writer.
Wow.
That's
And it's
crazy.
just, and if you look on the Wikipedia page, I mean, half the stuff's not there, but that's okay. But there's so much more stuff that we've done. like when we first started in this business in the 90s, the government was putting a lot of money into animation because these animation schools were there, and now they needed to make animation in Canada. So they needed actors, and there weren't very many actors to do this stuff. So when we first started working in the early 90s, we'd have 5 or 6 or 7 gigs a day. So I used to drive in from Ottawa, park my car, go do a gig. But to get to the next gig, I didn't have time to walk to my car, get in, drive over there, find a parking space, and then go and do the studio, and then do that to the next one. So we just park your car, taxi, next gig, taxi, next gig, taxi, next, and do that all day. It was just, it was so busy.
We were very blessed. Yeah.
We at one time, we'd have 10, 15 or 20 different shows we'd be doing. It was just mad. It was absolute madness.
We would work from 9 in the morning to sometimes 10 o'clock at night, 5 to 6 days a week.
Yeah.
And go from studio to studio. And
it was nuts. It was really nuts.
Yeah. I don't think I realized how lucky I was at that time. I just was rolling with it all.
It was
as a ball will do.
It was really wonderful.
Yeah. That's great. So now, so you both also got to contribute to another series, Toad Patrol. What was
Toad Patrol! Yeah, wasn't that a sweet series? That was what's his name?
That's the Rick Jones creation.
No. It was George Charson and his wife.
Oh yes.
I can't remember her name. Yeah, they had this idea pitch, and it was a nice little idea. These toads go on this quest. It was episodic and a serial. So the story had an arc and it had a beginning and an end. It was just a lovely thing, and we got to have so much fun. Hang on, just battery there. We had so much fun doing that because the stories were lovely. They were just gentle stories. Mm-hmm. The characters learned something. They taught other characters things that they needed to know, and it was just a sense of you're in a group and you all learn something about helping others and being part of a group and what that means. Mm-hmm. It was a lovely show to do. Absolutely lovely show to do. And lovely show to write. It just wrote itself.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
That's
awesome.
Awesome.
For example, if you got to wrote, various shows, like for example, with You Can't Do That on Television, kind of one of those shows. Yeah. So that's kind of,
You can't do that on television. Well, for us as writers, that was perfect because we were writing 30-second commercials. So now you go to You Can't Do That on Television, you write a 30-second joke. We can do that. So that's why they hired us.
Oh, wow.
We had no idea. We were doing it for like a local TV station. We thought, okay, we'll get a couple of bucks. And then it became the flagship for Nickelodeon. And we went, oh wow, okay, this is really good. No idea. So it became a big show. That was fun to write because it was just like writing a joke. Okay, here's a joke. Given a joke about prejudice or pride or hubris or whatever the topic of that show was, and just write 2 gags. We used to sit around the room throwing pencils into the walls, paper balls, and throwing hats onto the moose we had on the wall, onto the antlers. We had the moose in the writing room. We had all the toys. And it was a riot to write. Absolutely just a riot. Terrible jokes too.
Yeah, I guess because I'm sure like sometimes with various shows you have to do something for like a 30-second or something 30 seconds thing. It was like, oh gosh, what is the right way to do it in just that short amount of time? But because you both kind of already know what to do because you both kind of worked together so long already, it was just kind of it's like, okay, let's do it.
I just do, and we were using a typewriter. That's how long ago.
Yeah, yeah.
We've been around a while.
Crazy. All the technology now, it's insane.
I know. Yeah, the way technology's advanced these days. Yeah.
Absolutely.
We bought one of the first Macs because we realized how
cool
how hard it was to write on a typewriter, and you could just go. I can edit on the fly. Whoa! The only thing that computer could do, the first Mac, was it was a word processor. It couldn't do anything else, but it was word processing, and you could edit and move things around. It was brilliant. This was in 1984.
Wow.
Anyway, yeah. Thank you, Mac.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So now for you, Rick, what was it like getting to write for The Adventures of Teddy Ruxpin?
Oh, Teddy was another one of those shows that had a beginning and an end, and it was episodic. It was a series. So what they do is they give you a paragraph and you just filled it out with whatever characters you wanted to add, along with the characters you needed to do. It was an interesting show because it was you had to pick up somebody else's writing and work from there, and you had to end, and somebody else would take you what you have done and move on with it. It's not like sort of a regular TV. Nothing changes in that episode, and you don't need to know what the previous writer did or the next writer was going to do. So this one was a little trickier to write because you have to be careful of your plot points and make sure you don't put anything in there that's going to screw up the next writer, and that they're going to have to tie that storyline up. It was an interesting, a new writing style for us. I used to write with 2 or 3 other people, so yeah, that was an interesting show to write for, and it was one of the first big ones. In that period, 80s, mid-80s, yeah.
Because that toy itself was like huge at that time, so it's kind of making more sense of that for the TV series for that to happen when that time it was like such a huge thing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, of course. So now with now we're gone to the shows that you got to wrote for various series. Now, starting off with the Little Lulu show, what was that experience?
Little Lulu, I remembered when I was a kid. I don't think I played a character in it. I was just writing episodes. But it was another thing like Scarry. I already knew the characters. You knew what they did. You know what their character was like. So it was another show that was easy to write. And it was, again, you pitched 10 shows and maybe they gave you 1, maybe 2, whatever. Or maybe you got none. Little Lulu was an easy one to write too, just because you knew the characters. I don't think I ever saw an episode after we were done.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, so of course that you two got to be involved in such a lot of series together throughout the years. For us, the two of you together, what is it like for you two getting to work together on all these wonderful projects throughout the years?
Well, I think it was like it wasn't going to work. I had no social life by the time I got home. I didn't need to go to a party. I'd had one with the cast, with Rick and the other guys on these different shows. We would have fun. We'd laugh our asses off and have a total riot. I was very fulfilled. I didn't need a social life outside my work. Let me tell you.
It was honestly the most fun I've ever had. Like, it was never felt like work, except for the writing part. Never felt like work. You were just going in with your character or making up a character, or here's a character on the, can you make a voice for that? Yeah. I can do that. Yeah, no problem. Exactly. It was just, it was a gift. It really, really was a gift.
It's a part of your character. You know what I mean? Like, you go to, you have to enjoy being silly and doing things, and then it isn't work.
Yeah, absolutely not work.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah, of course. Because the series, from Wimzie's house, Sagwa, Arthur, and all these wonderful shows that we got to know either growing up or just no more down the road. Like, kind of too later or something. It was kind of before or after our time, but I can tell like you two have so much fun doing those projects together, and I kind of it kind of showed on a series to get all that together. It's just that's just so.
Well, even in conversations, we finish each other's lines. like and get that
exactly
line right, but we finish each other's lines. Can't talk today.
But like I've done a little bit of coaching online with other young actors, and I find that we have to do exercises together to kind of free up the little child inside. We do exercises like I'll make a kid bark or something like that, or be absolutely something that they would never do in their normal waking state. And I think that's what good voiceover actors are able to do very easily, is to be very silly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I think it's part of animation, and you can only learn so much in school. Then there's got to be something from within. I believe anyway. Maybe that's just because it's my experience.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
right.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
kind of the way where you got to experience and like doing Wimzie, for example, where she is like, going back to it briefly, where like she is like so excited, or she did some mistakes, but with being a little bit silly and all that. But it was just still from have all these emotions things. It turned out, still, a great thing for a child to watch.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah. Yeah, because the emotions have to kind of be, you have to be on the edge of being able to cry or laugh, or, you don't want to read a line like, well, Grandma, I don't know if I should go. Well, I don't know if I should go. You got to kind of be ready
Exactly.
to just go
Yeah.
over the top. Most directors prefer it if you go over
the top, and then they can pull you back.
Right. Just try and get all the silly else as possible, because I feel like the more you have to get that out, the more it's like, oh, okay, the writers can kind of like, or will like kind of know more what the character, like character can do this but can't do that, because the previous episode they got have those mistakes, but still kind of have that great thing for
well,
I mean?
I'm sure, Rick being a director, he knows it's a lot more fun to have to pull somebody back than to
try to push
the performance.
Oh, God.
Yeah, to have an idea come to mind. What's the, the whole aspect.
Right. Yeah. So now, as we're getting close to wrapping up, what are you both working on now? At least that you're allowed to talk about, if you are.
Okay, I just did a full-length feature movie that I can't wait to see what they do with it. I've seen some of the drawings, but it's called Bots. It's about botanical little creatures. Anyway, I can't say too much, I guess.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I got to play a lead part.
I play Greta, and she's very old. She's 105 years old, don't you know?
So that was a lot of fun to do. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. And I did a video game called Cuties, and that very violent. Sometimes, when I do these video games, I feel like saying to the director, I don't know if I can do this. I don't want little children. I don't want children to play with this.
Yeah.
It's pretty heavy duty, some of that stuff. But, it's a job, and you go in. And anyway, so that's Cuties. And then recording a series called Woolies, where these little wool creatures made from wool. And I get to play about 4 different characters. So that's a bit of fun.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that.
Yep. Likewise, looking forward to more down the road, if that's that's get out there and more. And what about with you, Rick?
I have one gig left, and that's the Spookley franchise, and we've been doing it for 15 years. That's the only thing I do, because I'm ancient and I'm retired.
Oh, gotcha.
He deep sea dives. He's not really ancient. That's just a number, but he's decided to be. He lives in this gorgeous place here with the most amazing views you've ever seen in your life.
I've just painted that on the window. That's not. When you go outside, sorry, I should have told you.
So he's sort of semi-retired. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, most of retired. But anyway, I keep the Spookley show because I love the people, and it's just a joy to do.
Right.
There you go.
I love the stories. I love the characters. Love them.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's
looking forward to more with the Spookley franchise.
I think that one will be around forever.
It's on Disney now, eh? Disney has its own channel. Disney.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah, Disney's been airing it for a while now.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah. So Jake, take us on with the last question.
Yeah, so you actually everything else at the end of the episode. Yes, thank you very much, Chris. So, of course, podcast called Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show. Yeah, you go. Yes, you logo. Yes, wonderful, great job. So now, what does nostalgia mean to you both? What can you kind of talk about? You both, define of nostalgia.
Wow, that's a tough one to answer. Nostalgia is where you remember all the good stuff, and you don't remember the bad stuff. And in our business, the nostalgia, there really isn't bad stuff. And it's warm and fuzzy and wonderful. I look back on what we did, and it was like, God, could we have changed anything?
Oh God,
Not really.
no! I'm so grateful. I'm very, very grateful to have had this wonderful career.
And this nostalgia, you live in it. I live in it. Like I live in it. I just, I go back to thoughts of the show that I worked on, to somebody I worked with, and it's just so warm, wonderful, and fuzzy. I love it. That's my book on nostalgia.
Nostalgia. I can't help also but think back to the cartoons I grew up with that influenced what we do. Which was, for me, it was Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
All the Warner Brothers characters and cartoons.
Yeah.
There was a kind of a humor there that I carry somewhere inside of me that feeds what it is that we do,
Looney Tunes.
But
Right.
nostalgia. Well, one time I locked my keys in the car and I stopped a cop when I to help me, get my keys, get my stuff out the car. At any rate, we got to chatting, and I was dead curious. I said, "What does a cop earn?" Now we're going back into the 1990s. I said, "What does a cop earn?" When he told me what he earned, and what I realized I was earning, I thought, he puts his life on the line every day of the week for less than half what I'm making. Does it make any sense?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Really, we've had a great run, truly.
Yeah, very, very much.
Absolutely. Great
There you go.
stand on. Yes.
Thank you both very much.
Well, Sonja and Rick, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. This is a blast. Great getting to speak with you both. And of course, thank you again to the wonderful Jeff Zahn
Wonderful Jeff.
for putting us in touch.
We'll tell him that we had fun with you for sure.
We'll be seeing him shortly.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Wonderful. Great.
He's great. All right, well, enjoy the rest of your day. This was fun.
Thank you very
It
much.
was a lot of fun.
Really
It was great
appreciate it.
pushing me
Okay.
We
both.
can't wait to hear. I haven't heard Jeff Zahn's one yet, but I'm looking forward to hearing that one too.
All right, see you guys soon.
All right.
Okay, bye.
Thanks very much,
Thank you
guys.
both. A lot of fun.
Bye.
Good job.
All right. Take care, both. See you. Bye.
Bye.
A lot of fun.
You said something in French. Okay. All right, guys. We'll check it out then. Thank you. We'll
right.
talk
Of
soon.
course.
Yes, absolutely. Bye-bye.
Thank you again, you both. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
It's goodbye from us as well. We absolutely enjoyed our time speaking with the wonderful Sonja Ball and Rick Jones. Links to where you can get in touch with them or check out their work will be in the description down below. Keep on the lookout for more wonderful interviews coming your way. And as always, what do we say, Jake?
Yes, keep nostalgia alive. Take care, everyone. It's next time. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another wonderful Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show episode. Be sure to follow Jake and the Happy Nostalgia team on social media, check out our website, and stream the show wherever you find your favorite podcasts. And as always, remember to keep nostalgia alive. Bye-bye.